Hello CraftDee family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY projects, we will be creating some neutral winter and home decor DIYs made with items from the Dollar Tree. Now these projects have a beautiful combination of black and white along with natural wood tones for a warm and cozy feel. Now some of these are also interchangeable, so you can maximize the number of looks in each piece. Now as always, all of the projects I create have a complete supply list in the description box, so you can easily use it for reference as you gather up your supplies. Now before we start, I have to say hey to all of my subscribers, and if you're a new visitor to my channel today, I hope you consider subscribing as well and stick around to enjoy these crafts and all the different ways that I will show you how to style these in your space. So now let's jump right into the projects. Now this project is a pair of modern style pine trees. Now we're going to need two mason jar lids. We're also going to need some tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. And we're also going to need some of these long, thick skewers from the Dollar Tree. Now, if you cannot find these at your Dollar Tree, they have these also at Walmart. Just check the camping section and you'll notice they're only 88 cents at this location. Okay, we're going to start our project. I'm going to grab some mason jar lids, and these are wide mouth of mason jar lids, and we're going to hot glue that insert in the lids to the top of the screw part of the lid. We want to make sure this is nice and secure on the inside, and then I'm going to go around again with my hot glue gun just to make sure that stays nice and secure in place. And then we're going to go ahead and do this for the second one until both of them are completed. And now we're going to go ahead and grab those bamboo skewers. So I'm just going to grab a handful of them out of the package, and we're going to start cutting them down to size to make our trees. Now I'm going to grab a skewer, and I'm trying to determine how long I want my two trees. So I'm going to start off with my shorter tree, and I went ahead and chose 8 inches for the cut length of this skewer. Now again, I'm going to be using my pet claw clips that I got from the Dollar Tree to cut these. I just find this makes it so easy to cut the skewers, and it doesn't crush them when you cut them like wire cutters. So that's what I'm going to use for this project. So now that I have one cut, I'm going to cut a total of 8 of these little bamboo skewers for my project. Now to start assembling the tree, I'm going to put 2 dots of hot glue on opposite sides of the lid and grab 2 of those wood bamboo pieces, and then I'm going to place it in that glue and then join it at the top with a dot of hot glue. Now you do want to hold this in place for about 10 or 15 seconds until that glue starts to solidify. And now we're going to do that on the opposite sides to make a T formation. First adding your glue and then adding your skewers and then dots at the top just to make sure they all stay in place. Now once that glue dries, we're going to add a skewer in between each one of these skewers for a total of 4 additional skewers. And here is what they will look like when they're all glued together. And now we're going to grab our other mason jar lid. Now I wanted this tree to just be a little taller than the first one for a little bit of dimension, and I decided to cut these at about 11.5 inches. And once I cut this first one off, that will be used as my template, and I'm going to cut a total of 8 of these, and you can see how much larger this tree will be compared to the first one. So now that we have 8 of our little pieces, our wood pieces, all cut, we can start bonding them together, and we're just going to do this the same way as we did for that first tree. And here are both trees all nice and assembled, and the glue has dried. So what I'm doing now is taking a piece of sandpaper and I'm sanding the top of the tree where the top is nice and even. You want that surface to be nice and flat for a nice finished look at the top. Now we're going to do this for both of the trees until they're nice and even. And as you can see, both of them are even and good to go. Now we're going to set those to the side and we're going to start working on our tumbling tower blocks. So go ahead and grab those and grab a straight edge or carpenter square from the Dollar Tree. Now the first set of blocks we're going to join together, we're going to grab out 4 blocks to form this 4-block solid block. So what I'm going to do is first of all just start by gluing together 2 of the blocks in 2 sets. And then once those 2 sets are nice and glued together, I'm just going to stack one on top of the other, hot gluing those together to make one 4-piece solid block base for my tree. Now I'm going to do this for a total of 2, so I can have 2 complete sets. Now the next set of blocks I'll be working on is 6 total blocks, and this will be the platform for my trees. So I am going to be joining these together side by side. You want to make sure you do wipe away that hot glue and flip your blocks as you go to make this the most even bonding platform. Now here is 6 blocks all joined together, and we're going to do a total of 2 of these. So now that all my pieces are done, we're going to take our tree bases and we are going to put them in the center of that 6-block set. Now to join this, I'm using my wood hot glue, but you could definitely use wood glue or other stronger adhesive if you like. You just want to make sure you center that 4-block set in the center of your 6-block platform for your tree. And here is what one looks like. Just repeat it for your second one until you have your 2 tree bases. So now we can add our trees here, and again you can use your wood hot glue or you can use a stronger glue like E6000 or Gorilla Glue. It's all up to you, and you just want to adhere it to the center of the bottom of that mason jar lid to be the base, and this is what it looks like. And once you repeat it for the other one, you have your 2 trees all assembled. So now what I want to do is take it outside and give it a couple of coats of flat black spray paint just to give it that nice finished look. And here are my 2 trees with that paint on them. They turned out perfect. I love how the flat black looks on these 2 trees. And now all you have to do is decorate, and this is totally optional. You can use fairy lights from the Dollar Tree. You can also stuff one of the trees with greenery by sticking it in between those skewers inside, or you can even add ribbon or other embellishments. It's really all up to you. And here are my 2 trees on display, and I just love the sleek modern look of these. Now using the thicker bamboo skewers really makes this piece super sturdy, and it's much less expensive option than wood dowels. Now you can also accent the base with trimmings as well if you like. Now even though these look really stylish as is, there are several ways that you can actually decorate this. Now you can take snippets of pine greenery and you can fill it in for a different look. Now this option brings a touch of greenery that really looks great in a winter landscape. Now I really love this look, but you can also brighten up your tree as well. And to do this, you can add some Dollar Tree fairy lights. Now I really love this look. Now all I did was wrap one set around this tree, but you could also add them inside the tree as well. Now I really love this look of the lights, and it would be great nestled with the deer that I made last week. Now you all have to let me know what you think about this project in the comments below. Now this project is a set of ceramic style pine cones. Now I'm going to need 2 of these pine cone decor pieces from the fall from the Dollar Tree. Now to make these pine cones, I'm first going to take them and give them a coat of this Zinsser 123 primer to turn them and give them a base coat of white. Now once that is all dry, what I'm going to do is grab 2 acrylic paints. I'm going to grab my nutmeg brown, and I'm also going to grab some black, and I'm just going to blend these together until I get a nice rich chocolate brown color for my pine cone. Now once you get the color that you desire, you just want to apply the coat of that brown paint all over your pine cone. Now I am using acrylic paints, but feel free to use any paint you like, spray paint, or whatever you might have on hand. I'm just using these acrylic paints because I have these on hand and it worked perfect for this project. Now here is one of my pine cones all nice and painted, and now you can paint your second one, and once that's done, allow them to completely dry. Now once they're dry, what I started to do is give it a nice frosted snow-tipped accent, and in order to achieve this is really easy. I took an old sanding brush and I'm adding some white acrylic paint to one of the sides. Now I like these sanding little brush foam pieces because they're really nice and firm. So what I'm going to do is just tap this on the pine cone, and what it does is it's only going to highlight the raised areas of the pine cone, and it gives it a really unique look. I just love using this stamping effect in my DIYs, so I'm hoping that this will help some of you in some of your stamping projects as well. So once that's done, you want to let it completely dry, and here are my two pieces all nice and dry, and you could just go ahead and decorate with these. Now I really wanted to keep this simple and easy, so what I decided to do is add a couple of bows that I tied and also some snippets of greenery that I had on hand. Now I'm just going to take a couple pieces of greenery and I'm just going to glue them together right on top of each other, and I'm just adding a little dot of glue there and holding it until it bonds. And once I have two sets done, I'm going to take some little bows that I had already tied, and I'm just going to add a dot of hot glue on there to each one of those snippets of greenery bundles. And now I'm just going to add each one to the bottom of my pine cone. Again, this is definitely optional, but it just gives a little extra touch that adds into the neutral theme of these DIYs. And here are my two pine cones with the bundles applied, and I just really think they turned out cute. And so here they are, all on display and complete, and I think that they did turn out awesome. Now my stamping technique turned out perfect on these, and adding just that small touch of greenery in a bow completes the look. Now you can definitely do this with real pine cones, but since I had these on hand, I thought they would make the perfect easy project. I hope that you all give this technique a try in your projects. Now this project are reversible snowflakes. Now we're going to need 2 of these MDF snowflakes from the Dollar Tree. And we're also going to need some black and white check vinyl from the Dollar Tree, or you can use scrapbook paper for this project. Okay, so what we're going to do is first grab a snowflake. I'm going to grab the busiest looking snowflake, and I'm going to start with that one first. Now what I'm going to do is, first of all, you definitely want to remove the tag, and you could set that to the side to use that later. Now for this one, I am going to paint the entire snowflake in white acrylic paint, and you want to make sure that you give this at least 2 coats because this MDF does absorb the paint pretty quickly, and also make sure you get the sides of the snowflake because that will be showing in your final project. And here's my snowflake all nice and painted on the front and the sides, and the back is unfinished. We will be adding vinyl to that later, but for now, let that sit to completely dry. Now we're going to start working on our second snowflake. Remove those tags, and we will be adding black acrylic paint, and we're going to do this for both sides of this snowflake. And here it is all painted both sides, and you want to let that completely dry as well. Now here are both of my snowflakes ready to craft with, so we're going to go ahead and start with the white one. Now we're going to flip it over. This is the side we're going to be adding our vinyl to. So I'm just going to be grabbing my Dollar Tree vinyl, or of course you can use any kind of scrapbook paper that you like for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my roll and sit my snowflake on top, and I'm just going to cut a piece that will fit the size of my vinyl, and you could just cut this off that piece with a pair of scissors, or you can use an X-Acto knife. Now once you figure out how to lay your snowflake on your vinyl, which way, however you want that checkered design to go, just go ahead and peel back the backing to reveal the adhesive, laying it pretty side down, and then you want to lay down your snowflake right on top of it. Now to trim this off, you can definitely use a utility knife, but I'm going to be using a X-Acto knife because it has a precise cut and it's easy just to quickly cut around all these pieces. I find this so relaxing to do, and I'm just going to cut around it. The vinyl is super easy to cut away. So here is a portion already cut away. You can see the progress going. It's really easy. So we're just going to continue to work our way around till all of the edges are trimmed here. Now for all the inserts, I just like to poke a hole right there through it, and then I like to trim this from the front and follow the outline of the snowflake. You can usually feel it right through until that's all cut out, and here is what your final snowflake will look like. Now set that to the side. We're going to grab our black snowflake. So the accent to this piece, we'll be using an acrylic paint pen. Now the Dollar Tree has their version of these as well, but this one here is from Amazon, and I'll link it in the description box below. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to go around the edges, making ticking marks with my acrylic paint pen. Here's the progress so far, but the final look is here. I absolutely love how the ticking marks showed up on this snowflake. And the other side, we are going to leave plain. Now, finally, we can add our hanger back in there. You can use the hanger that originally came off of it, or you can cut a piece out of jute twine and tie it up top. And you want to do this for both of your snowflakes so you'll be able to hang those. And here it is, all attached and ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is add some accents to the plain side of my snowflakes just to have an interchangeable look. So I'm grabbing 4 pieces of some pine greenery that I had, and I'm going to lay 2 side by side and glue them together. And then once those 2 pieces are glued together, I'm going to grab 2 more pieces and I'm going to lay them one on the top and one on the bottom. And you want to make sure that those are all adhered together and let them dry for a few minutes. And now that that's done, what I want to do is give it a little frosted effect. So I grabbed some miniature pine cones as well that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm using some white acrylic paint to give it that snow frosted effect. All I'm going to do here is take a paintbrush and just have just the tiniest bit of paint on it, and I'm just going to dust those pine needles with that paintbrush just to give it a light snowy frosted effect. And here's my piece with all their snow frost on there, and you just want to allow this to dry. And then while that dries, just whack on your pine cones. All you have to do is dust those the same way, just lightly dust that paint on there. And you want to do that for as many as you like, and then you want to allow everything to completely dry. All right, so here are all of our pieces, and they are now ready to go. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take some ribbon. I love this ribbon. I got it from Amazon. You get this huge roll, really inexpensive. And what I'm going to do is just tie a double looped ribbon. I'm just going to wrap it around and then tie it into the bow. No worries, I will slow this down later so you guys can see this. But I just have a double looped bow here, and I'm just going to trim it down so it fits in the center of my greenery piece. And of course, I'm going to put little tails on the ends here just to make it look really nice and finished. And once it looks good, just go ahead and hot glue that to the center of your greenery piece. Now once that dries, here is what it looks like. And now you can add your little pine cone accents. Now I decided to add 2 pine cones in the center right beneath that bow. So to add these, I'm just going to be using my hot glue, and I'm just going to arrange these where they don't interfere with the bow but still are visible and it can be shown in the final project. And here's what the piece will look like when it's all done. Now, I wanted my piece to be in the center of my snowflake, but I didn't want to hot glue it on. I wanted it to be completely removable and interchangeable. So what I'm doing is taking some really thick jute twine. I'm going to add it to the back of the piece. So I'm running a few lines of that hot glue straight across the back and then laying that jute twine right in the center of that piece. Now this will hold your greenery on your project. Now to add a little bit of reinforcement, I'm cutting a snippet of that ribbon that I had left over and I'm going to hot glue that right in the center, and this is just to kind of reinforce it and make sure that jute twine stays in place. And once it dries, all you have to do is run the ends of the jute twine through the two sides of your snowflake through the back. And once they're through the back, you just flip it over and you can tie it. Now you can add this to either side of your snowflake. It's all up to you. And as you can see, it's nice and attached and it looks wonderful. Now for the white snowflake, I wanted to make a greenery bundle for that as well, but first I'm going to make the ribbon. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ribbon between my two fingers here as shown here, and I'm going to have about a 5 or 6 inch tail, and then with my pointing finger and thumb, I'm going around my thumb and around my finger, around my thumb, around my finger for as many loops as you want your bow to be. And then once you decide you get it looped around enough, cut a nice long tail. You're going to wrap that through and around the entire bundle and then over and through the loop you just made and just pull it really tight. Now once you do that, it does form a really tight bow. I just think that this is a really super easy way to make a bow. I thought it was so fun, and here it is. It's ready to go, and now you have a cute bow for your arrangement. And you can see it fits well on that snowflake. So I did make another one with 4 loops just to make it a little fuller, but you're going to use that same technique. And then I added some greenery in a bundle. So what I'm going to do is hot glue some of these bundles, berries from the Dollar Tree and some greenery, and I'm going to hot glue it all together and then trim that end off so it's nice and even and you won't see it through the bottom where the bow will be attached. So once everything is hot glued together the way you like it, now you can add your bow as that finishing touch to the bottom. I just wanted something a little different from the first bundle, just for a little bit of diversity in both of the pieces, and you could see that there will be a difference, so you know everything doesn't look exactly the same on the project but still looks cute together. And once that's hot glued in place, you want to let it sit completely dry, and then once it is dry, we're going to go ahead and add the jute twine the same way we did for the first one, making sure we run it across the back and reinforce it with that strip of ribbon, just so we have this piece to be completely removable and interchangeable, just like the first one. And then we can add that to the white snowflake. So now you can choose to hang it up, and here is the black version with the ticking marks. Now this is definitely one of my favorite methods to use since it's so easy and it always turns out great. And the neutral decors will always blend into most decor as well. What do you think of this version? Now all you do is flip it over, add your greenery bundle, and you have an entirely different look. Just tie on your greenery of choice and you can make different bundles to change out with your mood. Now this is such an awesome way to get creative in your winter decor displays. Now on the back of the white snowflake is the buffalo check, and this is always a classic finish. Now this was so easy to apply the vinyl, and it cuts really easy with an X-Acto knife. Now this was a super fun design with a farmhouse touch that is always fun to add to your decor. Then with a quick flip, you can tie on your bundle and enjoy another fun version. Now you can always just display the plain sides of these as you prefer, but I'm always happy to share these decor options to maximize the use of these pieces in your space. Let me know which version of these snowflakes is your favorite style. Now this project is a pair of winter sled decor pieces, and we're going to need 2 wood sled pieces from the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to take one of the sleds, and I wanted to go ahead and paint this one. So I'm removing all those tags, and then I'm going to be painting it with some black acrylic paint. Now, of course, you guys can use any kind of paint that you want, but keeping with my theme, I'm going to paint this one black, and I like to paint the bottoms and the tops of the sled because either side can be seen in the finished project. Now here's my black sled all completely painted, and here it is. So you want to definitely allow this to completely dry and sit that right up there. Now for this second sled, I wanted to go ahead with a natural tone. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those tags and pieces as well. And to get that natural tone, I'm going to be using some Waverly Antique Wax to finish this one off. Now I am scraping the bottom of the barrel on this wax, but I'm trying to get every nook and cranny. So I'm using a long paintbrush just to get down to the bottom, and I'm going to start applying this wax all over the sled. Now it's important that when you start to apply this wax, you definitely want to wipe it off as you go, and just to reduce that waxy texture, and it'll help it dry a lot faster. So here it is all covered, and I'm going in with a paper towel just to remove all of that excess wax. And now set this up with your black sled and let them both completely dry. And here are both of my sleds. They're nice and dry. And now we're just going to add the strings back at the top. Now this is optional. You don't have to add them back, but if you wanted to hang these, you definitely want to hang those, add the strings back at the top. And here I have it. I have both strings at the top, so I can now hang my pieces. Now, instead of making new greenery decor pieces, why not use the pieces you created for your snowflakes? So this is what I was telling you guys about. Totally interchangeable pieces makes things so easy. And as you can see, these pieces look awesome on the sleds as well. So I'm so happy that I could create these and also create DIYs that you can use for multi-purpose, and you could share the different pieces throughout all of these projects. And there you have it, such a super fast and easy DIY using items that have a multi-purpose. Now, I think that these turned out great with that color update, and the greenery just adds that final little touch. Now, I really had fun creating these projects today, and I hope that they have inspired you. Now, as always, I do love them all, but let me know in the comments, which one was your favorite today? Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following CraftDee on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Now, if you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen and make sure you hit the bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. It's absolutely free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.